In just a matter of days, President Trump's tariffs take effect. Now, he struck a preliminary deal yesterday with the European Union following a weeks-long standoff. It comes as the Treasury Secretary met with trade negotiators from China today. ABC's Karen Travers explains.
President Trump in Scotland this morning talking trade alongside the British Prime Minister. The president says China is tough to negotiate with, saying we're going to see what happens. With days to go until the August 1st deadline for President Trump's tariffs to kick in,
we're making deals that are good for us.
Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent in Sweden today for trade negotiations with China, the world's second biggest economy. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney today says his country's negotiations with the U.S. are at a critical stage.
The negotiations are at an intense phase. It's a complex negotiation.
On Sunday, the U.S. and the European Union agreeing on a 15% tariff covering most goods from the EU's 27 member countries.
It's the biggest deal, I think, in history, not just trade deal.
European leaders today blasting that deal.
Valoro el esfuerzo que ha hecho la Comisión Europea.
Spain's prime minister says he supports the trade agreement, but without any enthusiasm. German Chancellor Merz says his country's economy will suffer considerable damage as a result of the tariffs. And the Hungarian prime minister says President Trump ate Ursula von der Leyen for breakfast.
15% is not to be underestimated, but it is the best we could get.
The tariffs will cover cars and pharmaceuticals, one of the EU's biggest exports to the U.S. The 15% tariff down from the 30% tariff the president threatened. But it's still not clear what it means for popular European wine.
15% on top of another 14/15% on the dollar exchange rate makes 30. And this is already pretty bad.
Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
President Trump says the EU will also buy $750 billion in energy from the U.S. over the next 3 years, plus a large amount of military equipment.